here we are again for another, I guess, installment edition episode of the Mana Value. Alec, how's it going, man?
Going good. I just had a kid, so only recently in the last couple weeks been able to play some more Magic after I think the longest break since I started playing.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, we had some good games yesterday.
Yeah.
And I've spent like half my day looking at cards, so excited to chat about what we have to talk about today.
Yeah, it's good you were able to juggle both those things. I know having a kid is a lot of work.
It is. It's great. He's unfortunately already grown out of his baby human token 01 onesie that he only got to wear a
No.
single time. But we got plenty of pictures of him in it though, so
Hell yeah. Well, as most of you could probably tell by the title of this video, we're going to be talking about some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cards. We kind of waffled back and forth on like, do we want to talk about it? Everybody's already kind of done it because the set got spoiled really, really, really early.
half
Um,
unintentionally.
yeah. So, but I mean, if we got to put out content, and the set comes out on Friday, which is when everybody will see this, so I figure it's a good way to just talk about a couple cards. We're not going to go through every single card. What we kind of talked about is like we'll pick a couple legendaries that we're interested in, kind of like through the lens of EDH and like theory craft some decks, some commanders that we find interesting or semi-interesting, or you know, and then just some issues or maybe things we like about TMNT and the cool cards, and that's pretty much the plan, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited. I There's a lot of cool cards I think coming in TMNT. Um, Most of them I was like, I think this is great in the 99, but I managed to find a couple that I think I have some really dumb ideas for. So I'm excited to share my horrible plans with everyone.
Yeah, I scoured over the set quite a few times. The first initial like looking at it, I was just like, man, I don't know if I like need to play any of these cards. Like,
Mhm.
and I don't know what your like level of TMNT fandom is or whatever. Like, it's just something I grew up on, so like I love it, but I also have like zero desire to have Magic cards of them. It's
Yeah,
the weirdest thing for me.
like so in the kindest way possible, I have vivid memories, right? Being a kid, Yu-Gi-Oh is on my
Yep.
TV in my bedroom, and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming on and changing the channel and or turning the TV off. So like even as a kid, I was like not super into it. So I don't have like my big like when the set was announced originally, I was mostly excited because I have a Rats deck, and I was like probably gonna get some sort of Rat support. Pretty
There's
excited
some good
about that
rats.
opportunity. There is some cool Rat cards. I do have an honorable mention Rat card. But but yeah, so I don't have like a tie to the IP on like an emotional level, but I'm very much like as long as the cards are doing something interesting, I'll participate. Like usually like with sets like this and even like Avatar to some extent. Like I didn't have huge ties. Like I'll
Yeah.
buy singles that I think are interesting. And there's some cool stuff in the set. Some powerful stuff in the set. So I'll probably try to pick up a few things here and there. But I doubt I'm gonna go out and buy a box of this set
Oh
particularly.
yeah. No. Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge artifact lover, and there's some pretty cool artifacts, so
Some pretty
I'd
gross
be
artifact
remiss.
support.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you want to start us off with your commander, or do you want me to start off?
I can start off with Commander because I feel like it's maybe one of the obvious ones, maybe not.
Okay.
Um, so I had a Mirim deck or Mirin deck, excuse me, forever ago. I'm a big graveyard support. Like love graveyard, love discarding, love sacrificing that whole thing. So I have Bebop and Rocksteady as one of the more interesting cards that I think for like graveyard support. So for those that are just listening, he is 1 and 2 Golgari, so the like hybrid mana, so black green, black green. Legendary Boar Rhino Mutant 7/5. Whenever Bebop and Rocksteady attack or block, sacrifice a permanent unless you discard a card.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I would naturally reach for this guy as a commander off the get-go, but I think running him as a like secret commander deck where you're looking for like a big payoff Golgari sacrifice engine like Mirren, or one of the other myriad of other uh, graveyard Golgari commanders. He can be like I think he's a really cool engine to have in the command zone, and not only necessarily as like strictly sacrifice graveyard
Yep.
stuff, but also madness. So
Yeah.
like I've pinned some cards like Shadow Grange Archfiend. It's 7 mana total. So 6
Okay.
and a black, 8/4. When this creature enters, each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures they control. You gain life equal to the greatest power among creatures sacrificed this way. But it has madness, 2 and a black, pay 8 life. So like there's some pretty like in my head, right? Like this guy is Bebop, 3 mana. Get him out early, and you just cheat out these stupid madness mayhem cards and really focus on like the sacrifice is like the obvious sort of play,
Right.
like Golgari, but also as like this like surprise factor of like, oh, say you drop it on turn 3, you're swinging out on turn 4, you don't have board state yet. Everyone's like, he's not gonna fucking sacrifice anything, and then you madness something in. I think there's like some real because like it's that the Shadow Grange Archfiend 3 mana for its
Yeah.
madness cost. Like that can pop off early. Also, one of the most famous madness cards, Emrakul, The World Anew. Hilarious
Okay.
thing to
I
park in
was.
this deck.
Yeah.
Obviously, you need to somehow get the 6 generic, but there's ways.
Oh yeah.
And that would be a very unexpected thing to see. Obviously, more of like a late game madness play if you've got some like artifact or if you're like running pain lands, etc. Things that can tap for either the generic or the colorless. And yeah, just like Archfiend of Spite. Its madness cost is 3 and 2 black. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to Archfiend of Spite, that source's controller loses that much life unless they sacrifice that many permanents. Like for 5 mana to be able to cheat out a body like that, a 6/6 flyer, like for an engine that's only 3 mana to start just like dropping these stupid madness cards, I think is both fun, effective, and is going to catch people off guard. And then even if you don't build it like that, like you can just fall back on this like the Golgari good stuff, like all of this like the recursion pieces. I mean, Golgari is in no short supply of cards that can retrieve things from the graveyard and put them on the battlefield. Um, so yeah,
That's kind of.
he's like I feel like a toolbox almost for Golgari. It's just like a good body and an engine in the command zone.
Yeah, I was kind of looking over some of the madness cards while you were talking about that, and like, it's a shame there's not more in green. It's mostly
Yeah,
in black,
it
but
is unfortunately mostly a black focused effect. But there's some solid ones in there.
yeah.
And I feel like if you were to build it around like around discard, around sacrifice, maybe like the black portion of your deck is focused on the madness, discard, sacrifice, and the green is focused on the recursion. Because there's plenty of like recursion in green. Obviously, black has like reanimate and what's the
Oh
black
yeah.
animate dead.
Hmm.
Obviously lots of animate support. But yeah, just like I feel like I'm a big fan of commanders that are like unassuming on the surface and operate more as the enabler to you committing like war crimes with them. Also things like what is it? Endless torment. What is
Tortured existence.
tortured existence?
We were close.
Yeah. So tortured existence style effects that allow you to, play with what you have in the yard and like discarding and leaning more into like that effect, I think could be an interesting way to take this guy. I haven't built out a full list. But that's like where my head was at. He's like I was saying earlier, like I was looking through a lot of the TMNT legendaries, and a lot of them I was like, "This is a great card in the 99. This is a great card in the 99." But like a lot of them, I was like, either they were like too predictable, or they were just good support pieces. And this
Right.
guy, I felt like he's just a cool. Like one, he's just a good body. Like he
3 mana 7/5. Hell yeah.
3 mana 7/5 is just that's good. Like Magic players in 99 are rolling over in their grave. Like I'm being told that there's a 3 mana 7/5 with a downside in air quotes. Um, but yeah, that's I thought he was fun little Golgari piece, and like we've been getting some cute like Avatar had that one guy, also the hybrid mana Golgari.
There's Long Fang, Grand Secretariat. Whenever another creature or land you control is put into a graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It's a legendary Golgari.
Yes, yeah, that is who it was.
Okay.
And why was he not coming with my search? Um, yeah, so whenever another creature or land you control is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Um, like arguably good support in this deck, or like
Yeah.
they both work like hand in hand with each other. Um, again, just like more like I with cards like this, with like this and like with Long Fang, um, they just seem like such good like Golgari toolbox options. There's like what Golgari wants to do, playing with the graveyard, playing with creatures going in and out of it. Yeah, I guess Conrad, like Sir Conrad, would trigger on this guy too. I actually didn't even think about like things that care about going to the graveyard from anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, Conrad would be a solid piece in the 99 for sure. It kind of reminded me too, like they're, just thinking of like 99 being in a 99. It would be excellent in Korvold. It would be
Mhm.
great in Baba La Saga. Um, what else? Marin. Well,
I mean, yeah, Marin loves this effect. Like when with my Marin deck, one of the hardest things was getting the expensive stuff in my hand in the graveyard. Like just
yeah.
being able to consistently throw things in there and having just another like solid discard outlet and a body like a because it triggers on blocking as well. So you drop it and
Yeah.
someone swings at you and you get to likely kill something and throw it. And if you're in Golgari, like say you're using this in 99 and it's gonna die in your Golgari deck, like you can just bring it back and you potentially get to discard something that you want in the yard. It just seems like such a cool utility card. I think it goes great in the command zone for a toolbox. I think it goes great in the 99 for like a lot of just general graveyard shenanigans. Golgari is always looking for sack outlets and whatnot. And yeah, like you were saying, like even like in Jund stuff, like I think
Hmm.
the World Seed, like man,
Yeah.
throwing lands in my graveyard, like that's all that deck wants to do is just have land availability in the yard and be able to sacrifice. Um, so yeah, one of my one of the more interesting and I think probably uh underappreciated uh utility pieces. And I mean like the hybrid mana cost, like not to be slept on. Like that makes it
Right.
so much easier to cast on curve. Um
Yeah, I was thinking too, my Crush the Bloodbraided deck, like, because you can sacrifice itself if you have to. So
mhm.
you, if you have Crush out, you attack with Bebop, sacrifice itself, put 7 counters on Crush.
Yeah, I mean
Very.
it's there's a lot of like sacrifice shenanigans. And yeah, like any deck that like checks for power toughness in the graveyard too, like he's a 7/5 that if like you throw him out early, he blocks, he sacrifices himself. Now you've got a body in the yard to bring back or to check for. Um, not a bad thing to have.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. Good rate, interesting effect for sure.
And another mutant. We need more mutants.
Yeah,
As a Mothman player, I love seeing a mutant card type.
yeah, it's kind of good that they've put a bunch of mutant support in this set too. I guess that's like another sort of upside of it. Let's see here. So actually, funny enough, I also chose a Golgari commander here with Pizza Face, the Gastromancer. It's 3 generic, a black and a green for a legendary artifact creature. Food Mutant is a 2/4. When he enters, make a food token, and then he has Disappear. And it's kind of funny enough plays into Bebop and Rocksteady a little bit. It says at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent left the battlefield into your control, put 3+1/+1 counters on up to one other target artifact or creature. If it isn't a creature, it becomes a 0/0 mutant in addition to its other types. And then it has pay 10 mana, sacrifice Pizza Face, you gain 15 life. I mean, there's so many different hilarious artifact shenanigans that are just like already going through my head of like animated
Yeah.
soul rings and mana rocks and finding ways to cultivate 10 mana really quick to sacrifice Pizza Face to get 15 life.
Yeah, the I I'm a big fan of one. I mean, this guy's hilarious.
It is,
Um,
yeah.
and it's a shame that him and Regos can't be like automatic. Like I would love to like to rule zero. Like, can you just let them be partners, guys? Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I just want to cook. I just want. Um, but yeah, like obviously Golgari's got a lot of like shenanigans with food. Like I think the landfall, what Tyler's provisioner,
Mm-hmm.
um, make food
Yeah.
token. Obviously Academy Man. Um,
Yep. That'd be it.
like
Auto include in that deck.
yeah, lots of good stuff. The sacrificing him to gain 15 life. This is like something I recently came across when I was working on a cube. There are so many effects in green that you gain, like gaining life, triggering. Like, I'm looking for it right now in Scryfall. But there's, I think it's a aura that buffs your creatures based off of the amount of life that you've gained in a turn.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and so for effects like that, like if you wanted to lean into a crazy Golgari like life gain deck, obviously like 10 mana is like hard to beat, but there's that artifact from Wilds of Eldraine that turns all of your food into mana rocks. Knight of Sweet's Revenge, 3 and a green. When it enters the battlefield, create a food token. Foods you control have tap at a green. Um,
Oh, man.
7 or 5 and 2 green, sacrifice it. Creatures you control get +X/+X until in a turn where X is them are foods you control. So like obviously in like what Tom, not Tom Bombadil, the other food Lord of the Rings deck.
Oh, Frodo and
Frodo, yeah.
Sam.
Yeah, Sam and Frodo, obviously lots of good food support that came from that precon.
Yeah.
Uh to really just dive in and make just a crazy foods matter, artifacts matter deck. And if you're leaning into the silly life gain aspect, there is a card that I've been really wanting to force to work from Fallout. That is a legendary mono green creature. Uh, Lily Bowen Raging Grandma.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
4 and a green. Vigilant 0/0. When she enters the battlefield, she enters the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters. At the beginning of your upkeep, double the number of +1/+1 counters on Lily Bowman. If its power is 16 or less. Otherwise, remove all but one +1/+1 counter, and then you gain 1 life for each +1/+1 counter removed this way. So another interesting, like if you really want to lean into life gain matters, potential include, and I feel like it matches like the silliness of Pizza Face. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
really,
even
really
like
funny card.
it is funny, yeah. I was even looking at adding stuff like, Ginger Brute and Sir Ginger, like the food creatures from the Eldraine
Yeah.
set. Like, besides adding just like as many artifacts to animate as possible. That's kind of what I was looking at with this is like how many artifacts can I just animate, and not necessarily like food tokens or
Hmm.
stuff like that, but that would be like part of the deck too, just like mana rocks. I don't know, other weird stuff like that's what I need to look into a little more with this is like all the different kinds of like artifact tokens it could make,
Hmm.
like scrap, junk,
Junk.
stuff like that. See what see what we can really like animate and put counters on. But I also like the fact that it lets you put those counters on the artifact as well.
Yeah.
And it's a mutant in addition to its other types, so it gets a creature type, which is kind of interesting. There could be some other stuff I could look into there with like mutants like tribal or whatever.
Yeah, there's that alien from Final Fantasy that checks mutant types. Forget her name. She's in my Mothman deck. I can see the artwork.
Genova.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Whenever a mutant you control dies during your turn, draw cards equal to its power.
Oh man, that's like auto including this.
Yeah, like that's a
That's
solid.
insane.
And she'll turn things into mutants, and she'll give them counters. So just in case, like you're not perfectly mutant coded, but like
Hmm.
this guy is a mutant. So, and if you want to blow him up to gain your 15 life, like
Ooh.
is a potential. Look. I'm not saying that 10 mana blowing up your commander with another piece out is like good return, but you're gonna blow him up anyway.
It's
And like
funny.
you're saying, like if you want to pay that 10 mana, maybe just pump a bunch of artifacts, like mana artifacts in this deck that you can turn
Yeah.
into creatures and then tap them to blow them up and then just replay them because you have like my Eldrazi deck is like half mana artifacts, and it's all because I just want to play all the Titans and not like necessarily being a functioning deck. And I have a great time. I just like make 25 mana every turn.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's kind of what I was looking at because he's also pretty high cost. He's a 5 mana commander.
yeah,
Um, and I was just thinking about how quickly could I get to that 10 mana effect.
yeah.
Obviously you want to get there as soon as possible. So there was that what is it, Eternity Elevator from the space set. It gives you 3 mana.
Yeah.
That's a good one, and you can animate it. So it's a fun one. You can animate
Eternity
like all
Elevator is
those.
solid.
Yeah, it's a good little ramp piece. You can animate like all the spacecraft from Edge of Eternities because they're all mostly artifacts. I think there's one or two
That's a
that aren't.
good dude. Maybe that's a good point. So yeah, all of your spacecraft you could cheat, right? Like you
Yep.
can make them creatures before they're technically supposed to be creatures. Um, but also like landers, which I one of my guys
Oh,
that'll come up in a second also cares about. But landers kind of slept on effect, I feel like, from Edges of Eternity, but another token artifact that you could throw out there. And a lot of especially in Golgari, like there was a lot of that came in the set that just either when they die they make landers, when they enter they make landers.
yeah. I've been looking through a lot of that stuff for that artifact cube that I've been building and like putting together because I was like, well, I want to have ramp support, but it seems like getting these things that are artifacts that make more artifacts from the set seems like a good include in this.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's a lot of good ones in green and black. So I like that. I like that addition too. Kind of more interesting now. I'm like thinking and brewing about this.
Yeah, I mean he was one of the ones that when it was spoiled, I was really interested in looking more into. I won't lie, 5 mana hurts. Like I
It's
think
a lot.
playing a Muldrotha deck for so long just like really burned me out on like anything over 4 mana. I'm like, man, it's just so hard to put it out there and keep it out there. Like if your
Yeah.
deck doesn't revolve around high mana costs, it gets hard.
Yeah, I know Ben Ulmer from Loading Ready Run did like a quick little deck tech, and I purposefully did not watch it because I was like, okay, I kind of like this commander, and I want to form my own little opinion. So now that I've
Yeah.
like gotten it out there into the world, I'm gonna go watch it and see like if we were like together on the idea of where we went with this.
Oh yeah.
What do you got next?
Next I have Mutagen Man Living Ooze.
Oh hell yeah.
X green 2/3. Legendary creature Ooze Mutant with trample. Activated abilities of artifact tokens you control cost one less to activate. When Mutagen Man enters, create X Mutagen tokens.
So you
So
get free activations of your mutagen tokens.
free activations of tokens, and he enters and creates as many as he wants. So obviously, all of the +1/+1 counter, like let's just get out of the way, like branching evolution,
Yeah.
um, uh, what is the forced adaptation? Isn't that it?
Yep.
Um, anything that's like if you had plus one counter, we put on add one more. There's like seven cards at least in
Yeah, I was playing a
mono
bunch of
green.
those last night. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, there's one
Mowu.
in the elf
Uh,
deck I was playing.
okay. Yeah. The
Um,
Ozolus Shattered Spires one. Hardened
yeah,
Scales.
and like Great Hinge, like obvious auto
Mm,
include. Like if we're like looking for like this stupid high power, um, you also get like the X spell matter stuff. It's like Unbound Flourishing. Whenever a creature you cast with a permanent with a that whenever you cast a permanent spell with a mana cost that contains X, double the value of X. So like get that out, double them. That's all cool. But like I was saying earlier, where I think this guy really gets interesting is Landers,
okay.
specifically with Horizon Explorer. Because Horizon Explorer is a 2 and a green, 2/4. Say lands you control, enter untapped. Whenever you attack a player, create a lander token. Which
Yeah.
means your landers are neutral. You attack everyone, you create 3 lander tokens, your cost is reduced by 1 because the landers are 2. You crack the first one to find an untapped land, you crack the second one to find an untapped land, you crack the third one to find an untapped land. It
Wow.
just immediately drops, just like orbital strike. So now I'm thinking landfall, right? Like we're full landfall deck now.
Sure, sure.
Scoot Swarm, and like I was mentioning earlier, like Tireless Provisioner, food tokens, Academy Manufacturer. We're
Yeah.
just doing all like we're abusing all the artifact tokens that we can. Um, and I was trying to find like an interesting. I like there's also like that legendary creature that makes like Power Stone in mono green. I can't remember how he does it, but I was thinking about him earlier today. Oh my god.
There's also
Uh,
a Karn that makes a Power Stone when you tick him up one.
yes. Um, so there's all sorts of. Is there? Where's this guy? Can't find this guy either. Um, I just think he's a really like interesting take on like admittedly a very normal mono green archetype of LOL. It's a big green creature.
Yeah.
And like uh I do think the cost reduction of like token artifact activations is an interesting thing. Um, I'm curious how many is there any clue? There's 7 things that care about clues in green.
Okay.
When a non-token creature you control dies, investigate.
That's
Uh,
pretty good.
that's Olvenwald Mysteries. It's a 3 mana enchantment. Briarbridge Patrol. Whenever it deals combat damage to one or more creatures, investigate at the beginning of your end step. If you sacrifice 3 or more clues this turn, you may put a creature from your hand on the battlefield. That's a
Oof.
really inefficient way of doing that, but in mono green. But there was a one of the other mono green legendaries I was looking at in this set actually was mono green just cheats out bullshit.
Yeah.
Um, Tireless Tracker. You have the obvious one. Landfall. Investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. Um, so yeah, he was. I think he's a cute little and like as someone who has a Hydra's deck, I have a special place in my heart for like mono green X spells. Um, I think there's a lot of room for some interesting artifact shenanigans. And like specifically, like I was saying, like with the lander token stuff.
Yeah.
Um, there's just so much you can make use of out of making landers cost only 1 mana.
I know for sure I would be. I'm probably gonna try and fit him into my ooze deck somewhere.
Well,
And
yeah, you
maybe,
have to.
yeah, maybe flip around like getting some more of that mutagen support in there because that
Mhm.
deck does care about 1/1 counters as well. So it's not a bad idea. Um, and like I haven't built this deck yet, just because you know how expensive these cards get. But this
Yeah,
would be a solid like slime against humanity commander.
I didn't think about something against humanity, but that is a good shout. I've been holding on to all of mine just in case it ever came like one came around that I was ready to build for. But that
Yeah.
is. a good idea.
Yeah, that's kind of what I looked at before. But I mean, big X spells is good. I love the lander tokens idea, and anytime I can force those in a deck, I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and like in green, when you have access to doubling season and what's abundant harvest, isn't that the other like
Oh yeah, second harvest.
second harvest? I was close.
Yeah,
Um, so again, like with the landers, maybe you're slow playing it, right? Maybe you get Horizon Explorer out and you're sitting on a Skewed Swarm and you're just waiting to crack it all and just kill everyone in one go. And you're sitting on like six of them. I don't know. A six is like a reasonable, like you swung twice at
yeah.
everyone. You drop Skewed Swarm. You swing at everyone again. You Abundant Harvest, and then you just crack all of your fucking landers and just whole world ends and just lands entering the battlefield. Obviously, like Lotus, like I'm very interested. I wish there was more lander support. Like
Yeah,
across, I think
I know.
landers are so cool, and like I understand um new set ability, but of all of the like gimmicks that we've had over the last like couple of years, like landers are one of the ones I just think they're so interesting, and I think it's so cool to give like generic ramp support across the board to all five colors for commander. Um, and yeah, again, making it cheaper just makes it so much cooler. You throw
Oh
like
yeah.
Lotus Cobra in there, and I mean, this is just stupid. Throw Earthbend in there. It's probably, I'm sure there's some
Oh
Earthbend combo
Jesus.
I'm not seeing.
Yeah, and mono green. Yeah, yeah. That'd be pretty cool. I think Earthbend would actually go good in that too.
I mean, I
Landfall.
was telling you yesterday that is mono green. Badger Mole Cub, Spring Heart Nantucket, and Lotus Cobra is infinite lands. That is all mono green. So technically, you could have a mono green that infinite land package in this, and then have him come out with infinite mutagen tokens, make him infinitely big,
Oh
and then
yeah, holy shit.
and then kill everyone. Like that would be one of the more comical ways of killing someone with infinite mana. Like, oh, what are you gonna do with all that? I'm like, I'm actually gonna have infinite artifact ETBs. But
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like
yeah,
that.
um,
Yeah, it's not a bad not a bad commander. I think it's got potential.
yeah.
Also, like, there's got to be some way to like lessen the X, like as you go on. Like, Myth Unbound. You pay like one less for every time it's been cast from the command zone.
Mhm.
And what else? There's something
I mean,
else
like
that
Opal
would like help.
Palace, I always think about with commanders like this. It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily like directly help, but it does make him bigger every time he comes out. Um, Especially yeah, for like a commander where you are looking to potentially play him more than once. I did like for a second, a secondary build I had in mind was to build this more like sacrifice focused, where you constantly
Mm.
want to blow him up. Um, it would take me some more digging, but I was like, what if we we play him early and cheap, have some sort of like add some sacrifice pieces to get some value out of him, to send him back to the command zone, to keep playing him, keep making him slightly bigger, and like uh Altar of Dementia came to mind of just like I was like I feel like there's like a way to make this a dumb like a really bad mill deck where you're constantly sacrificing him and making him bigger because he cheapens the um the cost. I mean maybe with like Ashnod's Altar like there's I feel like I was like another thing I
Yeah.
was chewing on. I was like I feel like there's a really dumb like sacrifice deck where you can just profit off of playing him, making a bunch of the tokens, playing him again, making a bunch more of the tokens, and you keep like slowly churning and constantly recasting him until like one final blow where you're just like now he's a 55-55 and kill someone and then deck someone.
Yeah, there's got to be something from an old set that in green that cares about artifacts leaving or being sacrificed. I would
Yeah.
assume. I know there's nothing I've seen in modern like design for that. It's all in like red and black usually.
Let me I want to type artifact.
Especially Mirrodin block. I feel like there's a lot of cards that care about that stuff.
Oh man, it's gonna. Yeah, this was like a. I had this idea like late in the game of digging through the cards I was pinning. Um, but yeah, there's got to be some sort of support. Like he would kind of like I think be funny in like a Muldrotha deck.
Yeah.
That would be able to easily just keep replaying him. Um, yeah, there's something bigger there. Maybe I'll chew on it, and next podcast I'll come back with my really horrible um sacrifice deck for this guy. Uh, yeah, I like. I mean, like I was telling you yesterday, and I love making horrible ideas work, even if they don't work like well. Just to like watch, just like to see the dumb thing happen once. I'm like,
Right.
isn't that funny?
Yeah. Yeah. It always gets a reaction out of people too when you're like playing something like that and they're like, "What did you just do?" It's like, yeah, just you know, killed myself by doing this or made 50 million tokens of this stupid soul ring or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to find. I am determined to find artifact sacrifice payoff in green. I'm sure I'm blanking on something that I've run before.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. There's so many cards you got to like that's the thing. We didn't really like take time to like sit down and plan out these decks. They were just some that after some discussion we were just kind of like, okay, these could be interesting to talk about and highlight.
yeah.
If we do figure out something with them, we can always do like a deck tech on the
Yeah.
channel, and if anybody's like interested in seeing those, anyways, that's another good way to do it. Because I know I'll probably stew on these for a little bit and then be like, maybe like, oh yeah, maybe I'll do something with this. But all right, let's go into my next one. I'm gonna make this quick because like honestly, just reading this commander, it does literally the same thing that Pizza Face does. Just it has a different end effect, which I can see here. But it's Donatello Mutant Mechanic. It's 3 generic and a blue for a 3/5. You can tap him, put 3+1/+1 counters on target artifact you control. If it isn't a creature, it becomes a robot creature in addition to its other types, but you can only activate as a sorcery. And then, whenever an artifact you control is put into a graveyard, if it had counters, put those counters on up to one target artifact or creature you control. I immediately like look at this as like a fixed Urza in a way. Um,
Yeah.
but it's still absolutely like can be broken. I'm thinking about every untap.
Oh, God, I love being a turtle!
Camera change, sorry people, but this will be edited out anyways. Anyways, yeah, I was looking at Donatello and I'm just thinking of like every tap untap shenanigans you can imagine to just keep putting counters on artifacts. And like I was kind of thinking the same thing as the pizza
Yeah.
face is like mana rocks, get as many mana rocks as you can. Tons of like mana producing artifact creatures like the mirror,
I
Palladium
love Mirror.
mirror, the blue mirror that taps for blue mana, Walking Atlas, just anything that you can also like get a ton of lands into play. Because again, he's kind of expensive. He's 4 mana. So trying to ramp into him is pretty crucial to start
Hmm.
getting his little engine going. But I mean, like, Freed from the Real, Ireth from Lord of the Rings set to just keep untapping, Val Candlekeep to pay for some of the mana costs, to do some other like artifact shenanigans with like the top of your library and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I mean, like realistically, if I were to build this, I would try to build it as like just super degenerate. How many artifacts can I make in a
Yeah.
turn?
Agatha's Soul Cauldron, I think, goes really well in this. Like, get a
Yep.
good activation ability in the graveyard, and then turn all of your mana artifacts into some hellish creature.
Yeah, I wish that
Yeah,
card still wasn't so goddamn expensive.
I hope when it rotates out of standard, it'll drop. But we'll see. It's also just like really good in Commander.
Yeah.
It's a solid effect. But yeah, this is one of the guys I'm like most excited for. I partly because he it doesn't care about what kind of counters are on it. The like
Yes.
charge counters was like wishing well, I think is also a form of counter. Like there's I feel like there's a like obviously the spacecraft like potentially stonk on spacecraft. Like
Oh
say
yeah.
how many like I don't even think there's that many blue spacecraft. I think there's only like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
If
but
we're in mono
they're
blue.
pretty good ones though. There's one that makes 2/2 robots by itself.
Yeah, and if we're in a say we're in like a artifact recycling mono blue deck,
Yeah.
which is not very difficult to achieve.
Yep.
Like look, Emery Lurker of the Lock.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, that's
you get
that's
your
the only
station
purpose.
counters, your charge counters on stuff, and you just keep moving them. Um, and yeah, like there's got to be some stuff from that Titus precon from Final Fantasy, um,
That cares about counters.
that cares about counters and it's just mono blue.
Yeah.
That works really well in this because that's like where my head was at when I saw. I was also, I was like, can I turn my planeswalkers into artifacts? And then when they
Mm.
die, move. Like, is this a Super Friends commander? Um,
Oh
like
man.
I don't know how. Again, these are all. This is like where my head goes. Like, I have all these horrible ideas. I'm like, how do I do the dumbest thing possible? And it usually takes some big digging. You'd have to turn all of your permanents into artifacts, which I believe that um, there is a card. I'm pretty sure it's colorless. Turns all of your everything, all your permanents into artifacts.
Yeah, there's so the big one that could lock people out of games is Mycosynth Lattice.
That's what it is.
There's
Yeah.
yeah. There's another one as well, like it's also a Mycosynth card. Yeah, encroaching Mycosynth. It's 3 and a blue. Non-land permanents you control are artifacts in addition to their other types. And so that counts planeswalkers.
So let's just take a peek. You turn Jace Arcane Strategist. I don't know. Like there's at least 42 mono blue legal planeswalkers.
Okay.
And we turn them into artifacts. Like the whole deck would
Let's
have to revolve around making them artifacts. But another potentially funny avenue to pursue. Uh, but yeah, like mechanized production, like the more obvious, more like straightforward. Think of that overdrive card. What is it that turns everything into creatures? With like another just we're gonna print artifacts. Uh, the Spider-Man card that copies things with the meme on it.
Oh the 6 mana enchantment. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, extravagant replication.
Mm,
What is it? Court of Vantress? Isn't that another?
yep.
There's a lot of great copy effects mirror made um, to just make sure you're constantly uh, grabbing, like creating more artifacts. Because like with this,
Yeah,
it's just
that
like
new
I want to drop
Tezzeret.
good. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Um, yeah, just like copy artifacts that man maybe
Yeah, because like if you the crazy thing is too is if you make your planeswalkers into artifacts and it has the counters on them, you can take those counters to put on another planeswalker to basically get it to that ultimate
mhm.
quicker.
And
Um, there's Luxior. You can add that to the deck to make it a creature by itself. That turns it into a creature. So then it can be an artifact through
yeah.
many different other ways with that. Ichor Moon Gauntlet gives
So
you proliferation.
yeah. And there's what the double proliferator, the like one of the mayhem.
Techathol.
Yeah. Um, but also they stay loyalty counters, right? So
Yeah.
your planeswalker dies, you move your loyalty counters to some artifact to sit, and then you play another planeswalker, and then when it dies,
Oh.
you just move them back to another planeswalker. Like there is a world where this is a really dumb Super Friends deck.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
just really need to make sure you can consistently make your planeswalkers artifacts.
Yeah. Yeah, Goldberry would let you move the counters too from Lord of the Rings. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
there's that's probably one of the worst ways to build this guy, but it would be one of the funniest. And I think it's like the only time anyone would ever laugh at playing against Super Friends.
No, it would be hilarious. Man, I might look into other ways of making this because that's pretty funny. Not gonna lie. Even having this and Mycosynth Lattice,
Mhm.
and then oh my god, and then you drop that Krang that makes everything indestructible. So then, like, none of your planeswalkers can die.
Yeah, there's something here. Again, I only have the time to like get bad ideas and not see them out. But
Mhm.
like just having this conversation, like where we were talking about these 4 cards, I'm like, especially Donatello and the Ooze guy, I'm like, really, really want to see how dumb of a deck I can make and see if it actually it works.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I like that idea with the with the artifact planeswalkers.
Yeah. Also, I did like I wanted to shout out one of the other obvious cards. One of the
Yep.
Cybermen cards, the Myriad one.
Oh yeah, dude. All those Cyberman cards are really good.
Yeah. Cybermen Squadron, 7 CMC, non-legendary artifact creatures you control have Myriad. Obviously, this guy turns stuff into artifact creatures. Then they gain Myriad, which means they sacrifice, which means you know, they're gonna die, and they're gonna if you can somehow like, I'm thinking like what is it, Overseer? God, what is that card? It's another artifact creature.
Oh, Steel Overseer.
Steel Overseer.
Yeah.
Myriad,
Tap
a
it,
bunch
the
of stuff.
counters.
Tap it to give all of your Myriad creatures artifact or +1/+1 counters. They all sacrifice. You get to stonk up on your +1/+1 counters. Like there's a lot of like really, really strong stuff you can do with the ability to just turn anything into a creature, give it some cocaine, and send it off into the sunset.
Yeah, this will be a good segue into what I want to talk about next. But there's Iron Spider that does the exact same thing as Steel Overseer. You tap it to put 1/1 counters on everything. So this leads into what I was noticing looking into the set is like the amount of redundant effects that are on some of these cards. It's
Yeah.
just like overwhelmingly like, holy crap, like we have so many of these effects. Do we really need more? And why can't they just print the same card? I don't know. Like maybe there's something I'm missing from a design perspective. But like as an example, we got a bunch of examples, but we're not going to go through probably won't go through every single one, but like, we got Agent Bishop, Man in Black. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. Good effect, 3 mana. That's pretty solid. But then, we had Luminarch Aspirant in Zendikar Rising that was at the beginning of combat in your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and that was deemed too strong for standard at the time. Like people were wanting it banned, and they eventually nerfed it on like their stupid arena thing where they like change cards. I forget what it's called. Alchemy.
Alchemy, yeah.
Yeah, because it was too strong on there, and I'm just like, it's a 1/1 counter, and this guy gives 2. And then, going all the way back to Theros Beyond Death, there's Victory's Envoy. It's 5 mana. At the beginning of upkeep, put a +1/+1 count on each other creature you control. So that's like a huge effect if you're going like pretty wide. It's 5 mana, but the effect is still the same throughout these cards, and I'm like, do we need more of these effects? I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Um, White has been getting uh some serious +1/+1 counter and go wide support recently. Like there's that Edges of Eternity
Mm.
card that whenever it taps, you put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control.
Yeah,
I have it in my Jan Jansen deck. Um, it's interesting. Like this effect for 3 mana seems comically low. Um,
yeah,
Maybe like my commander brain is like, well, if they're running it as a commander, White doesn't have a ton of counter support.
sure.
Like it's there, but they can't like the counter support that White has are these like trigger counter abilities. Like they can't double down on counters like Green can. But like Selesnya, uh,
Yeah, this
I
is
mean this thing just
crazy.
eats in the 99 of a Selesnya deck.
There's like tons of these cards in the set. It's like we got Dimensional Exile, which is like ossification. These like O-ring type effects. It's like how many more O-ring type effects do we need? Like I know that they have to kind of put these things in sets to kind of balance limited
Mhm.
in draft and stuff. So I understand that design aspect of it, but it's like why can't you just reprint the card that already exists instead of making a new one, which gives us another redundant effect? You could literally make a whole deck out of these like O-ring
Like
type
Banishing
effects.
Light and
Yeah,
Sheltered
it'd
by
be miserable,
Ghosts
but
and Web Up. Like I know so many of them off the top of my head because yeah, like in Commander, if you care like about if you're an Enchantress deck and you want to run multiple of these uh exile effects, like they're plenty. Like you could run full play sets of this effect in
yeah,
Commander.
yeah, it's crazy. And like I know, like a month or two ago, like Rachel Weeks did this whole video, kind of addressing this same thing. And like as soon as she said that, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like there are way too many redundant effects in EDH now to the point where it's like you could just fill a deck with them, and it's kind of taken away a lot of the uniqueness of what was deck building for the format.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Like I first noticed this as a player with I think like Corrupted Conviction, and I can't remember the like they had like said that the original name for that card like limited. I think it was like it's not Village Rights, but it is somewhere in there.
It's close.
Um,
Yeah, it's like that same effect of sacking something and drawing cards, right?
yeah, it's
Deadly
like it's
Dispute.
yeah the dispute. And they were saying that like the name was restricting. I think they've said similar things about like the land. What is it? Land that sacrifices itself. Um,
Evolving Wilds.
Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse. Um,
Yeah.
they're like the names play better with the artwork. I'm like, that's cool. The problem is we have a format where names matter.
Yeah.
We're a singleton format, and like you're like you can only have one Banishing Light, but there's
Yeah.
just like 17
There's
cards that do almost the identical thing. Uh, and yeah, like I'm not, I play a good bit of limited, but I own a single modern deck, and I've never played standard in my life. Um,
yeah.
but in a world where you like your deck is limited on the amounts of like of a given card that you can run, like when these redundant effects start stacking and a deck is allowed to run like an excess of a kind of effect that maybe is not an ideal situation. Like I am starting to get confused why we're not just reprinting the cards that have these base effects so that like things like standard and play sets and things like commander with that singleton don't get affected in the same way. Like maybe it's not as like again, I can't speak too much for standard. And maybe that's not an issue, but it feels like it could easily become an issue if an effect was strong enough and got reprinted enough with a different name. So it's technically a
No,
different
it's
card that you could stack it more than would be ideal in a standard deck.
it's pretty ubiquitous in standard right now. I'm gonna just touch on this briefly because we were gonna talk about standard a little bit, but there, to give you an idea, there's a full deck in standard that is nothing but discard effects. That's it. You're just trying to constantly discard your opponent's entire hand, get them to exile their library. Like it's fucking miserable to play against.
Mhm.
Um, because like you're not really playing Magic at that point. You're just trying to stop the other person from playing Magic, and it's like
Yeah.
who finds fun in that? But that is a deck that is on the ladder. It's in the um, what do you call it? Like tier list or whatever.
Hmm.
And it sucks. It's miserable to play against. So yeah, there's too many of those effects in standard right now for discard, especially. I think that's probably the worst one, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah, and uh like these things I think just like power creep Commander as a whole format. Um where, Commander is clearly pretty ban adverse.
Mhm.
Um and like that's fine, but we also have to come to terms that it's an eternal format. And so
Yeah,
like we need I don't fully understand the like if we're going to have bans, we should be more aggressive with the bans because like the format needs to have housekeeping every now and then.
sure.
Um, and I don't know. I just feel like you look like 6 years down the road. Like if this continues, like I'm just gonna be playing against decks that just they play these like two like 1 or 2 mana enchantments are gonna exile my shit. And also playing a Selesnya deck, so they're like gaining life and drawing cards for exiling my thing. And they're probably gonna make like a cat token or some dumb shit. And they're just gonna keep exiling everything. And they're like, oh well, it's exile tribal, but I also have a ton of 1/1s because I'm allowed to run 98 different enchantment exile effects because they've been printed with different names 100 times.
Yeah,
Um, and like cards like that wouldn't get banned.
no.
Because why like ban if someone's like we're banning Banishing Light or it's like going on the game changers list, I'd be like, why are we doing that? But um
But I think these are things people need to be aware of too when like they're building decks. I get like building an archetype like that just for like a one-off. Like if I built a deck like that, I would play it once and then get rid of it just to be like,
yeah.
haha, I did the thing. But I know how miserable it is to like play against that I would never put that on anybody else. I
Yeah.
run into it every now and then on Arena, like playing Brawl. There's Yenna Redtooth. Um, yeah, people just put her out and then copy literally fucking every pacifism O-ring effect you can just to keep your board locked
Yeah.
down. And it's like, cool. Guess I'm not playing Magic.
Yeah. I have an Ariat deck, it's a Charmed Apple, so like I can't talk too much shit. I do try to keep my Ariat deck like mostly friendly.
Yeah,
Um but like Ariat decks like eat really well on stuff like on cards like
yes,
this.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, did we really need to make Frog Butler, which is basically a weird functional reprint of Poison Dart Frog, where like instead of reach, it has Death Touch, and then the 2 mana cost is instead of giving it Death Touch, it gains reach. Like,
This was one of the weirder ones for me because I love Poison Dart Frog. Like I've
yeah, no,
talked
it's a
about
cool
getting a
card.
Poison Dart Frog tattoo. I love the artwork of Poison Dart Frog. I think he's
Oh
an
yeah,
awesome little guy. Um, People always forget that you can name him as a blocker and then tap him to give himself Death Touch if you have a single land open. He's a great like tricky card to play against.
yeah, yeah.
And
It's
Frog,
fun.
yeah, Frog Butler just seems like the the poison dart frog we have at home. Like
Hmm.
I don't know. It reminds me of like city pigeons, and then they like almost like release an almost identical card. It might have been identical in TMNT. No, it
Probably
was different.
was.
It had like a different creature type. It was bird something else. But again, yeah, it's like the same problem. Like I don't think frog tribal is going to become an issue, but I don't know. There's just something that I don't love about cards this close to each other. Like
Yeah, I know
what
it's
is
only two, but like, why?
yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, it's another mana dork in green,
That's fair. Yeah,
not a horrible
I
rate
get
for
that part of it.
but yeah, I
Yeah,
like my poison dart frog. I'll never pick and the dryad guy, the other death touch
oh
mana
yeah,
dork.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Um, yeah, I don't think I'll be adding Frog Butler anytime soon to any decks. Having to pay
No.
for Reach kind of sucks. Like, I don't know why it's a psychological thing that paying for Death Touch sucks less. Maybe because I think because to me, having Reach always available is more useful than having Death Touch always available and Reach sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I do
Yeah,
actually. Reach can save you from an annoying 6/6 flyer that doesn't have trample. And you just sort of like, I'm sorry, little guy, you got to eat this one for me. But I do think Poison Dart Frog is better than Frog Butler. But
Yeah.
I'm also biased.
Yeah, I
'cause
mean,
love him.
this is only like 2 cases of this. I mean, well, there's probably 1 or 2 more that we can get to, but like, there's also like functional reprints that are strictly better, which is also another problem because then you're like power creeping because you got Lessons from Life, which is a better version of Urban Evolution. It's 1 mana cheaper. And that's a huge difference between 4 and 5 mana to draw 3 cards and then put a land onto the battlefield, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
like the only difference being that the land is tapped seems so meaningless when
right.
you're spending 4 mana, like you're a turn. You're it feels like 2 turns ahead of the use of Urban Evolution because you don't really get to see that until turn 6. But on the turn that you'd be able to play Urban Evolution, you have its effect. Um, it
And there's
feels
so many other things you want to be doing on turn 5.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I think turn 4 is like probably where you want to do something like a Lessons from Life.
But I mean, just think of how of all like Simic didn't have a lot of draw and land support, and
Right.
so I, really Simic really needed more ways of drawing more cards and putting more lands on the battlefield. Um, yeah, and I mean, I don't know. Not that it's important. I hate the artwork on this card. Like
Right.
that's an
Play
unset
Magic.
card, and like I love unsets, but this I don't know. This being like on a main line, um, I don't know.
It is,
It just seems silly. And on a
it's
card that's solid.
right. Yeah, it's
4 mana
very
draw free is
a little
good.
too meta though. Like how so they're implying that Magic the Gathering exists in the TMNT universe.
Yeah, I actually looked. I was like, I'd give the artwork a pass if I could find Lessons from Life in the hand of one of the people in the artwork who would
Mhm.
then have another artwork of Lessons of Life. That would have been a cool little nod. It might be in there, but I looked for it earlier and I couldn't find it.
Nah, I didn't see anything. It's too small to tell also.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just think power creep is lame. Like I get why it has to happen, Um, it's like the natural progression. But again, being in an eternal format, it feels like it puts just a clock on like how long like Commander as a format can be viable before like larger scale bans or changes have to happen to the format. Like, are we going to get to a point if every set is going to like power creep us like slowly like this in Commander and with the quantity of sets we get every year? Like, are we going to have like a modern style like break where we're only or like legacy, like where we're limiting the years that we're allowed to play like different forms of Commander in because we want to avoid the certain tiers of power that were printed at a given time.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely people out there that like that. Like you can't play any cards past this, 2013 or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, when Fire Design got a hold of everything, like 2019, 2020. I don't know. And I guess the upside is like I could see this card being reprinted in a commander deck to where they change the art. Like
Yeah.
Lessons from Life is so ubiquitous. It could be it could be in the fucking Strixhaven one. We don't even know because they, it's a school. They teach lessons.
Yeah. That is a good that it does deserve some brownie points for being a solid generic. I am a fan of like I think like Warp in Edges of Eternities was a great use of like a keyword name that works for sci-fi but also will work for fantasy. Same with Exhaust in Aether Drift. Like obviously like car exhaust, but like honestly, like exhaust in a game sense, like makes perfect sense. Of like you can do this once and then it's exhausted. Like that's great. Like Lessons from
Yeah.
Life easily could be reprinted on some different artwork, which is what I
Yeah,
hope
I
for a
think
lot of these
so.
cards.
Yeah.
Selfishly, that's a silly reason, but I don't know.
No, that like I said, man, it's kind of like I appreciate that it's out there and it gets people into Magic. Like that side of it, I understand, but I feel nothing when I play with these cards. Like I look at them and I'm like, it's like I said last night when I was playing Light Paws and I was like, look, I have this stupid Sonic the Hedgehog card in here. I fucking hate it, but this is one of my decks that I just like min max the hell out of, and it's a good card for the deck. But
Yeah,
I feel nothing when I play it. Like I don't feel like, oh, this is fun. It's just like, ugh, here's a
yeah,
Sonic the Hedgehog card I gotta play.
and I feel like there's tiers to Universes Beyond. Like, not to turn this into like Universes Beyond chat too much,
Sure.
but like, my favorite deck is a Mothman deck. It's
Hmm.
filled with Fallout cards,
Hmm.
and I'm definitely biased, but like I feel like like a good bit of the Fallout cards had like real care put into them. They feel like Magic cards. Like there's and it like I think like Lord of the Rings, Final Fantasy also did a really good job of this. Last Avatar set, I think also did a really good job of this, of making it so that like the card felt cool without knowing too much of like having too much of an attachment to the IP. Whereas like
Right.
I think Doctor Who didn't do great necessarily with a lot of the like IP attachment and like being a functional Magic card. And I feel like a lot of TMNT, like the cards are good, but I don't know, like the player fantasy. I get lost a bit on, um, which like again like player fantasy is a whole topic in itself. But like in Magic, you can argue its importance. But I do think there's like something to be said about like feeling like you're a planeswalker or sorcerer casting like all these fucking spells. And
Right.
when I'm looking at like Lessons from Life and artwork like it, and the pizza lands, I don't know. I'm like I don't get the same like primal enjoyment out of being like I'm a cool sorcerer when I'm playing my turtles who are playing Magic too.
Yeah. No, and I get that. Like I do, and I understand the people that do feel that joy when they play those cards. That they love Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Cool.
If
But for
if
me,
if you love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and you're like so excited, like I'm so happy for you.
yeah, yeah,
Because again, I never thought Fallout would be coming to Magic, and
I
I've
know.
bought everything product I can buy from the Fallout set. I have purchased.
And
So
like,
I get it.
hey man,
Um,
I'm a big Doctor Who fan, so everybody shits all over that Commander set, and
yeah,
like
I'm
I get
sorry.
it. The cards are overly complex for no fucking reason. Like they're very hard to play decks.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of flavor stuff in there that like if you're a fan of the show, it's like, oh yeah, they nailed this.
River
Um,
Song is a banger card.
yeah.
Um,
And like I've been trying to make well, I can have it playable if I wanted to, but I'm trying to get off on a tangent here. We're almost done. We're gonna go through
yeah,
some last
we're
stuff. But I've been trying to like hollow foil it out, like the special treatments for like every single card in the deck. Um, and the deck is awful. Like none of the doctors work together whatsoever, which is hilarious to me. Um, but I know that is like literally a bracket one. Like
mhm.
I need some leeway to like play this deck. But it's just because I liked it, so I put it together and I got the secret layer and all that stuff. So,
Yeah,
but I know
my
everybody shits on it, and that's fine. I'm okay with that.
yeah, one of my buddies built the Doctor Tribal deck, and it was like it felt like planes chasing. Where like every time a new Doctor came out, like he was just like playing a different deck. It was like total pivot, doing different things now. Um, but
That's so funny. Real quick, I think we're not going to talk about all these cards, but I would like to talk about some of the good cards in the set. Not, it's really funny. I put push cards on this list, and I don't know that they're necessarily pushed, but there are some very, very strong cards, and like, yeah, they are way strictly better versions of things that already exist, kind of like we talked about.
mhm.
Um, but the one I want to start off with here is Ravenous Robots. It's one generic and a red for Artifact Creature Robot. It's a 2/1. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless robot artifact creature token. Holy crap. That is just asking for trouble.
this is the fastest the card's ever gonna have gone into Jan Jansen like on
Yeah.
release. I think like this is crazy for artifact creature decks, and like red is great at doing artifact creature decks go wide, and yeah, it's just a good time. Like 2 mana, awesome. Crashing drawbridge effect, awesome. Yeah, solid.
Yeah, it's as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, I have like a billion. This is going in the artifact cube, like 100%. Joyra, my Joyra deck is like my pride and joy. It's got to go in that deck. Yeah, man, it's crazy. You should be able to make so many robots in certain types of like artifact decks that it's just like, cool. This is gonna get out of hand real fast. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Like my Jan Jansen deck's like all artifact creatures. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of.
I like that we're getting
I need.
more. Go ahead.
I was like, I need to get my hand on one of these. I don't know who are in our scene is buying TMNT, but it'll be one that I'm keeping an eye out for.
Yeah, I bet somebody will have some of it. Hopefully,
Mhm.
I know I've been like eyeing like if something gets like real cheap, I'll probably like scoop up like one or two cards. But yeah, not buying boxes like you said.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Next up here is the Ooze, 2 mana legendary artifact. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it leaves the battlefield, create a mutagen token for each +1/+1 counter on it. That's crazy already by itself. Like if you talking about the Ooze Man earlier, this is like an auto include in his deck.
Yeah.
Because think about how many mutagen tokens you can make off him dying. But the other part of it that's amazing, and we know this from a couple other cards that are in standard, but the tap, exile, target card from a graveyard, create a mutagen token. It's got graveyard hate built in. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. This I have like a habit of being like, this is a Mothman card.
Yeah.
But this feels pretty Mothman possible. One of the issues my Mothman deck has is a lack of mana sinks.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and
Okay.
so if I could just have a stockpile of mutagen tokens to then hold priority with my, because for those that don't know, like my Mothman deck gets to a situation frequently where all of my creatures can tap for like 10 mana plus, through various means. The easiest of which is like exiling Kame the Whispered Hopes with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Then all my creatures tap for their power. So being able to have something that synergizes with +1/+1 counters, which Mothman loves, things dying. I don't have like a lot of sacrifice outlets, but like people like blowing up stuff when I play the deck, and it's like
It's
very
true.
creature focused. And then just to be able to dump all that mana and then make stuff bigger, like make Mothman even bigger threat. Also, like my Hydra's deck, kind of
Oh,
would love this. Yeah, and it's grave hate. We need more grave hate in Commander. More people need to be exiling extra turn effects that people dump in the graveyard. Or
it's
Just
it's
get
there.
the
It's just
boogeyman
nobody
out.
plays it.
yeah,
I'm guilty of that too, man. Like, but it's because I have so many graveyard decks that I'm like, I
there's a
can't do
soft
it.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
Feels a
Uh,
little like self-hating. Let's see. I'm gonna. We know Technodrome's good. That's good for artifact decks. I mean, that thing's crazy. Um, yeah, there's just so many good like artifact things in this set, which that's always what immediately like grabs my eye. Like
Mhm.
Donatello Gadget Master is really good. Does machines this new enchantment class? Whenever it enters, mill 2 cards, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. I know that sounds bad, but a lot of times with like artifact decks, it's kind of okay to get that stuff in your yard.
Yeah,
But then, when it gets level 2, you can return 2 artifacts from your graveyard to your hand. And then at the beginning of your combat on turn, put 3 +1/+1 counters on target artifact you control. It does the Donatello or Leonardo thing. I
Yeah.
forget whoever one it was. Yeah, Donatello from earlier. So it's like a redundant effect on a card that's in the same set. I mean,
yeah,
pretty busted, and you only have to put, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana into it, which is not bad.
Yeah, and there's I mean, like I mentioned earlier, there's just something funny about turning a soaring into a body, and it's
Hmm.
repeatable, so that's cool. And yeah, I don't think the mill draw discard. To me, if your deck is built correctly, that just says draw two, draw two, draw two.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's a downside. It's more of a discouragement from not every mono blue deck running it, and having to select which decks it can function in. But yeah, I think it's a solid card, and it's a good rate. Like honestly, even just for like 2 mana, mill two, draw two, discard two is not bad.
Yeah. No, I think so too. And the last one I want to mention here, which I'm sure everybody has already caught on to this card, is Super Shredder. It's one in a black for a legendary creature, Mutant Ninja Human. It's a 1/1 with menace, and whenever another permanent leaves the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Super Shredder. Holy push card, Batman. Everything that I've seen with this card already has been so disgusting that it's just like it's going to be a multi-format all-star. I feel
Yeah,
like not just EDH. It's already doing like crazy shit in standard. I could see this being viable in modern because it's 2 mana. There's tons of stuff that leaves the battlefield in modern. Don't know much about Pioneer, unfortunately. Um, yeah, I mean, like I don't know. Vintage is probably the same way. Like I know they have a bunch of artifacts that they sack, like Black Lotuses and stuff. So, and this cares about anything leaving the battlefield. There's land hate in Vintage, strip mines and wastelands and stuff like that. So,
hmm
um, I watched one game of the Spike Feeders guys, and they played a Blink deck into Super Shredder on the same that was in the group.
hmm
And I was like, did they not read the card before they put these decks up against each other? Because the Blink deck was actively making Shredder like absolutely massive.
yeah,
uh, and it was really hilarious to watch because it's like, well, the other guy's like, well, I can't not play my deck, but
yeah,
it's gonna make Super Shredder insane.
yeah. This card's busted.
Yep.
I mean, you know, newsflash: Black cares about things leaving the battlefield. And it's saying leaving and not
Yeah.
dying. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So like, conjures closet effects. Like you're saying, like you build blink. Like, uh,
Landfall decks that sacrifice a bunch of their lands.
yeah,
Oof.
especially with Earthbend. Like, I like this guy is going. It feels stupid, but like
Hmm.
I bought the Fallout Secret Lair, the
Oh, cool.
last one with the ghoul who cares about mutants and zombies, and so this is an infinite payoff. Like all I need is a zombie, Phyrexian Altar and Gravecrawler, and
Done deal.
this guy's gonna kill someone. I just swing him at it, and it's like, you a bad enough dude to say no block as I trigger my infinite sack. I guess Gravecrawler. I'd have to do it before comment because Gravecrawler is still sorcery speed
Still.
cast him, but yeah, this is just a stupid effect. Like for 2 mana, like it's just crazy. Like I read effects. I like obviously it's a 1/1 body, but that effect I feel like goes on a 5 CMC creature. Like
Right.
that's just because I think
It's
Like Conrad is doing in my head something like in the same world, right?
Yeah, cares
Um,
about stuff leaving.
yeah. And it's just yeah, I can't believe it's like a real card.
I know. I watched some pre-release of Gabriel Nassif playing, and he was like, man, I don't think Super Shredder's that good." And then like by turn three, he pops off with this like Golgari mutagen token deck and is swinging in for like 15 already on somebody. And I was like, oh, and he's like, okay, maybe I was wrong. Super Shredder's kind of busted.
Yeah, and like to tie it all up, like the Golgari guy I was talking about earlier and the Ooze, like those two guys play so well into like if you're running that Golgari commander, the discard sacrifice guy that I mentioned,
Yeah.
Bebop, and then you've got this guy in the Ooze and your 99, and this guy is your win con, like you're just dropping orbital nukes for nothing. um Yeah, I mean he's a great payoff. I don't know. I feel like he's like a situation almost like a Gishath kind of, where like or like a Vivi, where like that's in the command zone and you're a problem like
Yes.
before the game starts. So I don't know how
Yeah.
many like decks I'm gonna see led by him, but he's gonna be a finisher in a bunch of them.
Yeah, that was kind of what I noticed too. I was like watching the certain channels that played him as a commander. I was like, yeah, the gameplay that it leads to is also like kind of miserable because it's all like edict effects or like
Hmm.
endless fleshbag marauders. And I'm like, that is so unfun to play against. Like, if somebody sat down, this is like Turgid level of like, it's not discard, but like nobody's gonna be able to keep anything on the board, and that's fucking miserable for
Yeah,
everybody. So I would see it hated out at tables. I would think like
yeah,
on that level, but being in the 99, it's whatever.
yeah. And I mean, it's pretty easy to deal one damage to something. So if you can get it like the moment it enters,
That's
just
true. And
pop it. I mean,
most of the removal in standard cares about stuff that's 2 CMC, so like
yeah.
he ain't living if he gets some standard play, which I've ran into already. So it's people are brewing with it. That's for sure.
Man, also that got me thinking like Rakdos, like token burn, like this guy is just gonna be a menace and like oh, oh my God, my Jan Jansen deck. I don't even think about Jan Jansen. Like he's not but like this, like that's why with cards like this where it's just like so good that like it fits into like archetypes that has no business being in.
I
Like
know.
it's
Yeah,
crazy.
he's like a super well, obviously super shredder, but uh, pun not intended. But like he's a super beefed up version of like one of my favorite decks. My uh, uh, Crush the Blood Braided that I mentioned earlier, where it just cares
Mhm.
about stuff getting sacked. I don't run a ton of like Edict effect in that deck. I'm like actually trying to sacrifice my own stuff as opposed to other people's shit. But like he's just so like he's just so much better in every way, except like he's missing two colors.
Yeah. And like I was saying with like the 5 CMC, like Jaws was just printed at 5 CMC.
Yeah,
Jaws cares about artifacts leaving the battlefield, and Jaws deals 1 damage to everyone every time that happens. That's a 5 CMC. Like, I know it's different, but like, man, it's just 2 CMC for this is just crazy. Like,
yeah,
I think it's mostly what I'm hung up on is that he's so efficient
yep,
at doing this. Like,
yeah. It's easily the strongest and best card in the set, I would say by far.
yeah. Well, I meant to mention it earlier, but it's a good opportunity to bring up one of my honorable mentions
Yeah,
at
go
2
for it.
CMC very briefly, and that is Rat King Verminster,
Hell yeah.
or Verminster. Um, Rat colony support is all it is. So at the beginning of your instep, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control this turn, create a 1/1 black rat creature token and put a +1/+1 counter on Rat King. Hilarious that this is like a similar effect and so much like worse.
Right.
um, at the same rate, like he's another 2 CMC legendary black 1/1, but that's anyway. Then you can tap him, sacrifice 3 rats, and return target creature card and all other cards of the same name as that card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Long live Rat Colony. This is awesome. Love this guy. I want him in my rat deck, even though I don't run Rat Colony. I won't be able to make use, but just the like beginning of instead of permanent left battlefield making more rats is great.
Yeah.
I just think he's awesome. And like I mentioned at the top of the podcast, I was hoping for rat support, and I was like, we got one. So
Yeah. And it's pretty solid, I would say. Like just getting that extra body on there.
yeah, I wanted to give him an honorable mention, and also if it'd be like kind of a really awkward way of doing it, but for whatever reason you have an Orzhov Tempest Hawk deck, could also be funny. Or the
I mean,
Demir,
Shadowborn Apostles.
yeah, what is it? Partitioner, what is it? The blue guy,
Yeah.
the middle one. There's some funny combos you could try to force this guy into a weird deck. You don't have to set up the rats, but you can figure that out.
That would be
Um,
funny.
But yeah, I wanted to give him a shout out. I thought it was a cute card, and I like his artwork. It's not too like that. It just looks like a magic card, so I'm not too pressed
Yeah.
about no pizza on it or anything.
Yeah, rats fit into Magic really well. They've been a long-standing creature type, so it
Yeah,
kind of that one kind of works, you know.
yeah,
Anthropomorphic turtles.
little,
Eh.
a little less.
Well, I think we'll leave it off there. We had some other stuff we want to talk about, but I think we delved into Ninja Turtles enough to where I feel like we got a little podcast out of this. Some good discussion, I think, with everything in the set. I think there's some interesting cards, some pushed cards, some ridiculously strong cards, and some weird cards. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's a
There's
magic
obviously a
set.
lot from the set that we didn't talk about. I wanted to try to find some of the ones that are a little less likely to get poked at that I still think had some opportunity because there's some like crazy like when I was looking at Scryfall earlier and just scrolling through the whole set like some of the stuff that's like going for money is pretty crazy. So I'm excited to see what people build. Um,
Yeah.
Again, I'm not in love with the IP, so I'm not like jumping at the. I don't know how well any of these are flavor wins or anything, but um, we'll see. I think a lot of strong cards for the 99. A lot of
Yeah.
strong cards for the 99 in this set.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. You know, like I said, much like past few sets, there's nothing that I'm like dying to build from the set.
Hmm.
Although, like the more I think about the pizza face dude, I'm like just to try some really dumb jank stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
we'll see.
I do think I'm building the ooze guy, the mono green. I think I've just like I feel too inspired about doing dumb like landfall stuff. And I'll probably see. I don't think I'd ever build it, but I'll probably put together like a digital version of Super Friends Donatello, just to see
Yeah.
if it ever worked.
Well, hell yeah, that is another episode of the Man of Value in the books. If anybody watching this is interested in us like doing a deck tech on one of these commanders a little more in depth, let us know in the comments, and we'll take a stab at it. We'll collab and do a little video. Alec, thanks for joining me again. Thanks for
Thanks
the
for having
games
me.
last night. Yeah, yeah. This will be a I don't know, like once a month thing. We're talking to our other friends in our play group about like stuff they want to hear about and maybe them joining in on some conversations.
Yeah, and now that my life is calming down with baby, I can get a little more hands-on with some and dive a little deeper into some topics. I'm sure with Strix like going into Strixhaven, which is like a plan I'm much more interested in than TMNT. I'll have a
Same.
lot more ideas and probably I'll probably be brewing stuff before the set comes out. So yeah, I'm excited for what we do next.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. Wait